Boom. I'm leading the show. Boom. Perfect.
So, it's so funny. It's apropos on this topic, right? Because this one is a little bit touchy, especially in the manner that I'm about to talk about it in. So, forewarning, this is not PC whatsoever. I'm sure that if you're fragile, this is gonna, Okay, so boom, interracial dating. First of all, what's your experience? What's your background on it?
I mean, I've dated white guys, Latino guys, whatever. Just
It's all on the spectrum.
It's the spectrum.
Like you can't even, but if you had to though, right? If you had to nail it down though, right? What would you say would be your preference? Because I feel like everybody knows the answer, even though they want to be a grill and be like, I have no preference. Nah, you got one.
So usually I gravitate more towards like Latinos. And that's where I get in trouble at. Thank you very much for coming to my show.
I feel like the whole Latino thing, we're like a universal aux cord or like a universal remote. Like everybody wants to fuck us. Even racists want to fuck us. It's crazy.
It'd be like that.
I'm very fortunate for my background for sure. So hot take on interracial dating, right? I feel like obviously it's a great thing, right? It progresses people forward. Two different perspectives coming into one. Fantastic. Especially if it's done right. Families coming together, right? Obviously, those are the good things. But nothing is absolutely good, right? I feel like there's a difference between a black male with a white female and a white man with a black female. Do you think that?
I feel like, yeah, I do.
Like there is a difference, right? In a weird,
It's
can you explain it way?
It's weird. It's just like, okay. To me, it's I like when I think about like a black man and a white girl and a black girl with a white guy, it's just like, oh my gosh, I don't know,
There is
bro.
a difference, right?
It is.
Okay, so I'm going to say why I feel like it's different, right?
Yeah.
And I know people love to say you can't speak on things if you're not this or that.
Sure can.
I'm going to speak on it, right? So growing up, most of my friends happen to be quote unquote African American. And so I noticed things early on. I was like, maybe this was an isolated incident. Maybe this is a trend. So what happened was I realized that early on, I don't know if they're still doing this or whatever the case may be, but early on, they felt like other black women could call them out on their bullshit.
Yeah.
And so they felt like they couldn't fool. They couldn't do the buffoonery, right? And I know this is going to sound bad, but I just kind of feel like they could control the white women because it's so new, it's exciting, and they don't really know the behind the scenes culture, right?
Yeah.
For instance, when I was growing up, my friends would have a white girl for Jordans, a white girl for a phone bill, and that PlayStation.
Oh shit.
And I know that sounds terrible. And it wasn't an isolated incident. Do not get me wrong. It was not an isolated incident. And I know that sounds bad, quote unquote. But I'm just speaking on my personal experience.
Do it, yeah.
Do you think, like I said before, right? There is a difference into, the dynamics.
I just think that like when you hear it all the time, when a black man gets with a white woman, it's because she's a lot more mellow. She's going to take direction well. She's not loud, aggressive, or ratchet, or ghetto, whatever the case may be. And it's just like, okay, if you say so. Because black women are aggressive and loud and ratchet and ghetto.
Yeah. Their personality is strong.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying that in a manner that sounds backbiting whatsoever. The personality is literally strong. And I feel like if you're a strong man, if you're a man that can deal well with different views and different flavor in your life, I feel like there's no problem there. For me, what really bugs me about interracial dating sometimes is the fact that people will give the black guy and the white girl a pass. But the minute that a black girl is with a white guy or Latino, now there's a problem.
It's a fucking problem.
Now there's a problem.
Oh, she's a bedwitch. She's sleeping with the devil. Oh, she only likes him because da-da-da-da. Okay.
She a traitor.
You should support the brothers or whatever. Okay.
Right. It should be on both. The same energy should be on both sides, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't switch up. And if you were that adamant about it, then why aren't you bagging them?
Yeah. It's just sad to me because I don't think it's always made me angry when people say that black women are just ratchet ghetto and this and, you know, all the negative things out there, when it's just like, maybe we're just really like standing up for ourselves at this point.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with somebody not only knowing what they want,
yeah,
but not taking the bullshit.
Exactly.
You're not taking the bullshit no more. And I feel like that's 100% okay. Interracial dating, when I see, and I know, sounds bad, but yet again, whenever I see a white guy or a Latino with a black woman, I'm like, this motherfucker means it. Yeah. And I don't know why I think like that, but every time I see it, that's my instant reaction. Like, he's dead ass. Like, I just feel like there's a different energy, because oftentimes he doesn't necessarily, like, why is he going out of his way to do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just kind of feel like what I've observed, they're really down for the sister. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the type of thing where it's like, what's my return? You know?
It's a lot of the time, not a lot of the time, half the time, there are white men that do get with black women, you know, for the fetish.
Glad you brought that up. Glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, interracial dating, all for it, down for the swirl. But there's people out there that literally fetishize, go out of their way, right? Like, for instance, it's kind of concerning, red flag, when a white girl's on a dating app, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, no white men. So you're saying that Chris Evans ain't bad?
Yeah.
Or, yeah, like, you're not saying that no white guys are bringing it? Fetish. You're fetishizing. Red flag.
It's weird to me when I see things like that. Like, I only like black boys. I don't like no white boys. I don't like, white boys can't touch me and this and that and the third. And then guess what? If it shows up on the net and then it gets passed around, the white boys are like, we don't want you anyway.
Right.
Or the black boys are like, yeah, we don't want you. We're going to pass you to Japan. You know, I've seen the trend before.
You already got passed.
So.
And we're going to pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't condone fetishizing, right? And I've met people who legitimately have done that. And I'm not sure if the other person's just being naive or dumb, that they can't tell what it is, right? A good telltale sign, if you're a black woman, that a white man is fetishizing you, y'all don't go out in public and he doesn't even entertain the thought of a relationship or meeting the parent.
Yeah.
Huge red flag.
Yeah. Another this, I don't know if I ever spoke to you about it, but I had a friend and she's a white girl and her baby's father is black. He told her that he didn't want to have kids with a black woman because he didn't want their kids to look like monkeys.
Hot topic.
She was just looking at me and I was like,
straight faced, and you're just like, what?
Wow.
Yeah. Interracial prejudice, interracial racism is a hot topic. People ain't even ready to talk about that. Maybe at a later time. But I do know that there's a lot of that to pass around, right? There are, unfortunately, black women who are like, solely for the fact of light skin
Oh yeah.
babies.
Oh.
That's just as toxic. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh.
Like, that's kind of on the fringe of like self-hate.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, no, not on the fringe. That is self-hate.
I mean, people used to pinch babies' noses to make them smaller if they were too wide. I think, like after they were born or something like that, just to shape the nose or whatever. And then there was a video I watched once of this family that is famous on YouTube, and she's light skinned, the dude's black, and she was just like talking about the baby's skin color directly after the baby was born, and I was like,
why does that get a pass?
It didn't. People went hard.
Thank God.
They were like, "Oh, but the family's still pretty praised."
Nah. Another thing that I really don't like about interracial dating, right? I love it, but I don't love this portion of it. There's literally Karens out there calling you out that feel like just because they're with a black man makes her a civil rights leader. Karen, just because you like black dick does not make you a civil rights leader. It doesn't make you anything special. You just prefer black dick. Stop acting like you have a high horse just because you riding.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's toxic. Like, what's wrong with you?
I don't think people just don't see. I think they feel like it'll help them fit again, the fitting in thing, right?
Right. Because a lot of these, and I know this sounds cynical, but I kind of feel like a lot of these women and a lot of people who are like on the fringe of the culture, they just want their way in.
Yeah.
They're like, what can I do or say to get in with the cool crowd? You know what I'm
Go to
saying?
the cookout.
Right. They just want that invite. We ain't vibing with you, son. You don't know how to play spades.
Sure.
You complained about the salt level.
Yeah.
You don't know what adobo is. You don't know what Saison is. Yo, for sure. Pros and cons to interracial dating. I hate to say it. There's buffoonery out there, right? But at the end of the day, it's a beautiful union if done right.
I agree.
We're doing a survey around the country on the way population handles themselves and speaks and deals with their friends and interact with their peers.